Waking up screaming, crying, often like banging my head. It was self-harm without actually knowing that it was happening.
They think they're possessed, they think they're psychiatrically ill, they think that someone's controlling them.
Sometimes it's just like a general feeling of like overwhelming darkness that's encroaching on my space.
Like a horror movie, when somebody just belts out a really incredibly high-pitched scream.
When I get ready for bed, I try to not watch TV, not be on my phone, just try to do something relaxing before I go to sleep. Yeah, generally try to go to bed at a reasonable hour. I'm definitely envious of people who go to sleep and wake up refreshed the next day. Not something I've had in a long time. My night terrors are never the same, so sometimes it can be just like a ghostly figure or a demon type figure. Usually have just this feeling of impending doom or like something's trying to kill me. I've thrown pillows, I've thrown lamps, I've run into a wall. I've woken up on the floor on my head, sweating, heart pounding. I've got a lot of adrenaline, I'm shaking, I'm very confused. I guess when I was growing up there was no information about it at all and people used to just think I was crazy.
They think they're possessed, they think they're psychiatrically ill, they think that someone's controlling them through a voodoo doll. My name is Dr. Dev Banerjee, I'm a sleep clinician. Parasomnia describes abnormal behaviour during sleep. It's an arousal out of deep sleep or slow wave sleep. So there's a physiological basis behind it rather than purely a psychiatric.
It's 24/7. I mean, I still wake up in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning.
It doesn't matter what age you are, what gender you are, everybody will have some sleep problem at some stage in their lives.
I needed to do a sleep study because my sleep was being interrupted during the night, more than likely due to my snoring.
Having a sleep test essentially allows us to understand what they do in their sleep. So this is the recordings of someone who's had a sleep test. This is the architecture of sleep. When she has a night terror, there's so much jumping around, you get a lot of movement artifact. How can they be asleep, but they are just wandering around in the kitchen? Well, the brain is activated, i.e. the limbs and the muscles, but the brain is electrically still asleep.
It can take quite a big toll on your partner if they're not getting their own sleep.
There's definitely occasions where she'll mention prior to going to bed that she can feel that she's going to have a really restless night or she knows it's going to happen. And sometimes if she has that feeling, she'll sleep in the spare bedroom just in case.
There's usually priming factors and there's trigger factors. So you've got to be primed to do one of these episodes. And the common priming factors is sleep deprivation, but there's others such as medications. It's quite common for those who have PTSD to have non-REM parasomnia, such as night terrors. It's not necessarily a causation, i.e. one causes the other, but it's more of an association.
When I met Cameron, I was in year 12. His cousin was my best friend. Yeah, we just kind of clicked straight away.
Really goofy, and you could never have the same moment twice. It was just always something spontaneous. That smile just says it all. He's like, I'm going to throw that snowball at you. He loved it so much, he made a big snowball and put it in the back of his ute, thinking that he could keep it. And by the time we got home, it had melted into water, and he put the water in a little water bottle and kept it as a reminder about the snow.
I was first diagnosed with PTSD about 2 weeks after the accident, the night terrors began. I'd seen a post on Facebook which was about a car crash, a Queensland number plates. I just remember thinking, oh, some poor family's lost somebody. I was at home and my mum came rushing home. She just shook her head with tears in her eyes and was like, no, it was Cameron. My heart just sank. And then I don't remember much from that point on. First they started with waking up absolutely traumatised, shaking, crying, sweating. I started waking up with bruises and cuts and often banging my head against things. It was self-harm without actually knowing that it was happening. It got to the point when I was hurting myself that I would tie myself up with a skipping rope so that I couldn't hurt myself. When I woke up from the night terrors, it was painful and shocking, and it got to that stage where I was just terrified to go to sleep.
They won't remember why they've had a night terror. They won't remember whilst they're having a night terror. Sometimes when you're coming out of a night terror, you start to drift in and out of sleep and wake, and then the brain confabulates a little bit. Naturally, if you're wound up, then winding down before you go to bed is critical. Because if your brain is like a firework display and jumpy and edgy, then it's more likely that you're going to be primed for a sleepwalking episode.
Just try to do something relaxing before I go to sleep, or even doing something like sewing where you don't have to think too much. I would hope they would stop one day, but I don't feel like they'll completely go away.
Mum thought it would be a great idea to do a day trip and go and spend the day just painting and having fun. It really started to relax me and really bring me into the moment again. And so that's really freeing, and it allows me to just ignore the flaws and put them as part of something better. While I was having night terrors, I woke up tired. I woke up drained. My whole day was just spent like, oh, do I have to go to class today? Do I have to do this? Whereas now, when I wake up, I'm pumped to do everything.